All right. Welcome, friends and clients of DesignMyMedicare. It's our annual meeting preparing you for life on Medicare in 2026. I'm Brian MacArthur. A lot of you know me, and happy to spend a couple minutes with you. It's kind of silly to start off and being demanding, but it's very important that you watch this video before you book an annual review meeting. It's very important that you digest this information, understand how these changes may affect you so that you know if we need to meet this year. So I'm going to share a screen here and let's kind of walk you through today's agenda. Pretty impressed with myself. I was able to figure out how to do this. Thank goodness for AI. All right, so welcome to this year's video. This is today's agenda. We're going to meet the team and we're going to cover a couple different topics that we have just observed over time are just going to be relevant to you, important to you, and the topics that affect you the most. Okay. So, number one, we're going to meet the team. A lot of you have met some or all of us, but it's just a great opportunity to reconnect with you. We'll talk about some topics like short-term care planning, cancer coverage. We're going to get right into the changes for Medicare plans in 2026. We'll talk about some new technology resources that we have made available to you or that we're making available to you. And we'll kind of wrap up and give you a couple other videos that you'll need to watch prior to booking a meeting. All right, so here we go. The first slide is we're going to meet the team, and I'm going to start off and let everybody kind of go around the horn and introduce or reintroduce themselves. I will say I'm so grateful just for the team we've put together, and a lot of you have had interaction with some or all of us, but I'll just let everybody go around the horn, introduce themselves, and give you an opportunity to get to know them a little bit better. So if you wind up speaking to one of us and not another, that you kind of know who you're chatting with. So Jennifer Santos, if I can put you on the spot to say hello, tell us a little bit about yourself and go from there.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Santos. I'm sure I've spoken to many of you. Look forward to taking care of you during in this up and coming Medicare season. I've been with Brian now for almost 5 years and been a health agent for about 13. So I have two kids. One just started SDSU this fall. So go Aztecs.
You forgot to mention 5 years with Design My Medicare or 5 years with me and no visible scars, or at least none.
Yes.
So very grateful for you, Jen. And if I can move on to Hansel, if you could introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself, that'd be wonderful.
Hi, this is Hansel Sorono. I'm the operations manager at DesignMyMedicare. I'll be the first person you'll speak with when you call the office, and I'll be happy to assist you with setting up an appointment and assist with your concerns with the best of my ability. Thank you.
Awesome. You're the best, Hansel. We appreciate you. Hansel, you just always have this attitude of the answer is yes. What's the question? And it causes us to see how far we can push that theory. And you just always deliver. And we're just so lucky to have you. And Alex Lopez, Alex, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi, of course. Thank you, Brian. My name is Alexander Lopez, Alex Lopez. I've been with Brian and Design My Medicare for going on 2 years now. I have a little sales background, little IT background, but if you want someone to be thorough and to help you choose the best option for you, then I'm always very excited to do so. I would not be nearly half as good without the team that we have supporting us. So we're all definitely very eager and looking forward to helping you out in this 2026 season.
Awesome. Now it's great to have you, Alex. And the other thing I always like to point out is that we work very collaboratively. We all follow the same process, really down to the syllable. Every once in a while, if you talk to Alex last time, you talk to Jen or me next time, I think we keep good notes and maintain your information so we can make quick work of your needs. And yeah, that IT background has served us well. So you're a man of many talents, and we appreciate you. So, all right, cool. So we'll jump into the slide deck here, and I'll kind of bounce in between that and let you see our pretty faces. So we covered that. I'm going to cover a couple topics that have just kind of come up over time. So, as you know, in most cases, we met you through your full service financial advisor. And unsurprisingly, there are certain topics that come up around Medicare. I'm going to say long-term care planning is typically the topic that's sitting on the shelf next to Medicare in most of your heads. for good reason, a lot of your financial advisors have prudently introduced the topic of long-term care planning to you. Ideally after 50, maybe 55. If you're 55, your parents are age 80, and you kind of have often had some sort of long-term care planning event that you've had a front row seat to, so you understand the importance of it. That being said, long-term care events are not for sissies. They're definitely worth planning for. Some of you bought insurance in your 50s when it's more expensive. I don't want to be a defeatist and say for 65 and up that there's no long-term care planning options for you to speak about with your financial advisor, but the menu of options has shrunk and the cost gets more, right? A lot of you know that. Most of our clients have at least topically looked at long-term care. Again, not to be a defeatist, but if you're, 68, 69, 70, there's a very good argument to either from out of your mouth or your financial advisor's mouth or maybe our mouth that says you probably missed the boat on buying long-term care. You would just need to give the insurance company so much money in such a short period of time. It's often unaffordable. Well, what that results in is a lot of you what we call self-insuring the risk, okay? Which just means you're your own insurance company. Hey, if you get long-term care, you're going to pay for it out of your pocket. It can be create very, very rapid reductions to your portfolio. I don't want to sit and preach because a lot of you already know that. All right. So, but the situation you're in is, yes, you're self-insuring. We're going to call most of those people reluctant self-insurers, right? You're self-insuring the risk. You're okay with it because you kind of need to be okay with it because you didn't buy some big, robust long-term care policy 10 or 15 or 18 years ago. We get it. There's never been anything in between the person who bought that robust long-term care policy and the reluctant self-insurer. Now, what there are in a lot of states are what we call short-term care policies. I'm going to tell you, and this isn't trying to preach, I'm not selling, I'm just telling, if you missed the boat on long-term care insurance, everybody in that situation should look at a short-term care policy. It's like the best consolation prize ever. So like I said, if you missed the boat on long-term care, buy a short-term care policy. If it's available in your state, definitely buy it. It's available in most states, not others. If you're interested in this, we can chat with you about it. Additionally, if you're taking a couple different medications, a lot of these policies help offset the modest monthly premium by giving you like $15 every time you refill a medication, right? So, whatever your monthly premium is, let's just say you refill 3 meds a month, you're going to get, 3 times 15 is $45 a month. So you could be in a situation where you're paying, I don't know, $70 a month for the insurance and you're getting 45 back. It's an absolute no-brainer. Most of these plans will reimburse you $4,500 a month for the first 6 months of care you receive in your home, right? It doesn't matter how nice the facility is in your neighborhood. You don't want to go there until you have to. 80% of long-term care events start off at home. The costs on these, because they just cover you for the first 6 months, are very modest. I'm going to say it can run from $60 to $160 a month. You got to be pretty old for it to get up to $160 a month. So, and again, most of that premium, whether it's 60 or 160, gets offset if you take a couple different medications. So absolute no-brainer for the reluctant self-insurer. If it's okay, the other thing I always point out is that it's not just finances. A lot of the challenges with long-term care events come down to the stress and the logistics of it. And while these policies only cover maybe 6 to 12 months, a typical long-term care event for physical impairment is about 2.5 years. Cognitive impairment is 8 years. Okay, we're just talking to you about how to solve for the first 6 to 12 months, but in my estimation, the first 6 months is probably the most stressful. It's kind of the last stop. There's nothing left besides a short-term care policy because you're not going to buy a long-term care policy for most of you. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Thank you for sharing that, Jen. So that's one topic we wanted to bring up. The other topic is we've kind of had a change of tune on these lump sum cancer policies. So what I'll share with you now that we've got a couple of years under our belt and we've had people who unfortunately have dealt with cancer is that while Medicare is typically going to be the best health insurance you've ever had, hopefully most of you feel that way, there's costs inevitably associated with Medicare costs. There's a lot of costs outside So whether you have a Medicare Supplement or a Medicare Advantage plan, there's a $2,000 max out of pocket on Part D drug plans now, which is great. There used to not be a max out of pocket. You can thank the Inflation Reduction Act for that. But I will bring up that, whatever your max out of pocket is, even whether it's $257 on a supplement or $6,000 on a Medicare Advantage plan, you're also going to have a $2,000 max out of pocket on drugs, and you're probably going to hit that twice in the first year. Most people are not getting diagnosed in January and resolving a cancer diagnosis by December. Probably more often than not, you're going to get diagnosed in July and you're going to hit your max out of pocket immediately. And then January is going to come around, you're going to hit it again. Okay. So that's one thing to keep in mind, just as far as your inevitable exposure within your Medicare plan. As great as they are, you still have out-of-pocket costs. The other thing to keep in mind is it's just a big lifestyle disruption, lost wages for you or a loved one. Typically, somebody's dedicating their time to kind of help you out. Just stuff you don't think about, right? Cost of wigs. Wigs are $600 to $1,000. Most of you are going to want the $1,000 one. You're probably not going to want one. You're probably going to want more. We've had clients who have gone with experimental surgeries. Look, Medicare is awesome, but technology is evolves faster than what Medicare approves. So if you want the autonomy to pursue that type of stuff, having that liquidity is helpful. Non-traditional treatments. I mean, we've had clients that get, vitamin C IV bags that are several $100s a dose, and they get them several times a month. Travel costs is probably the big one. We have had clients get some crummy diagnosis and say, hey, I want to go to Mayo Clinic for this, right? So of course that has costs. I'm going to say the biggest thing that we notice with our clients who have the lump sum cancer policies, and I don't want to jam a square peg in a round hole. A lot of you are good savers by anybody's definition, but just because you can afford, or someone like Alex or Jen or Hansel and I can say, oh, if you're a client of so and so at Merrill Lynch, you can afford this. We all know you don't always pull the trigger immediately. If we have these policies that drop 30, 40, $50,000 in your lap upon that so that you can rearrange your life for this, you're going to take action immediately to go get the best care or whatever you and your family feel like the best care is. Finally, I'd wrap up. There's ways to build these policies where, if you don't get cancer, and of course that would be our hope for everybody, that when you pass away, you get 100% of the premiums right back to you, right? So if you had a $50,000 lump sum cancer policy, and let's say, I don't know, over 22 years, you pass away, and, maybe those premiums added up to $50,000 over that time, and you were lucky enough to not have a cancer diagnosis, all those premiums get delivered right back to your beneficiaries, right? So it's kind of a, no loss way to kind of plan for that. So if that speaks to you, definitely let us know. Okay, so from there, we're going to move into Medicare changes. So this is the stuff that's important to everybody. I'm going to break this down into two sections, of course. As a lot of you know, Medicare should be the best health insurance you've ever had, regardless. There's this fork in the road: Medicare Supplement, Medicare Advantage. Some of you are on Medicare Supplement, some of you are on Medicare Advantage. We're going to talk about Medicare Advantage first, and then we'll talk about Medicare Supplement. Every year, a lot of the marketing you get is, it's always designed to scare the stuffing out of you. Deadlines, penalties, consequences, big changes to Medicare. There's always changes to Medicare. Is it always significant and relevant? No. I miss the boring open enrollment seasons. I'm sure you agree, Jen. We've been we've been together the longest, and I now look back at 5 years ago and 4 years ago when you and I started working together. And we didn't realize how grateful we need to be for how boring open enrollment was back. Now there's just a bit more volatility and disruptions. Not good or bad. We just have to deal with it and make sure that we get you all set up with the right solution for the upcoming year. So let's talk Medicare Advantage. The biggest thing let me start with this. Do you or don't you need an annual review? Well, if we cover anything today that you need to talk more about, book the meeting for the annual review. Our hope in sharing this is that you might just, for some of you, you might just decide, hey, I think I'm okay where I am, and that's fine too. No news is good news. If you're not hearing from us, we don't see a reason to make any changes to your Medicare plan. Now, that's not a mandate. There's two sides of this relationship. There's us and there's you. So if we think we need to talk, we're going to reach out and we need to talk. If you think we need to talk, You book a meeting and we need to talk. If neither of us are reaching out to one another, and there's nothing else we need to do, then we're probably okay where we are. Okay. So no news is good news. Here's what's happening with Medicare Advantage. It's been like an arms race of all these neat extra benefits and new plans for probably the last 10 years. Every year, these things got better and better. You know, they always had a vision plan, but suddenly they started offering dental, and the dental went from like just okay to halfway decent to suddenly so robust. A lot of you have been able to go the last couple of years without needing to actually buy a dental plan, right? And there's other things. You might have an over-the-counter benefit where you get 75 bucks a quarter to order from a catalog, and you've never bought a Band-Aid or toothbrush or a vitamin C tablet since you've been on Medicare because you've had that. It's gotten better and better. Private equities come in, that sort of thing, very hyper competitive. And then additionally, I know when Jen and I started, a lot of these Medicare Advantage plans were HMOs. No disrespect to HMOs, most of our clients are more predisposed to PPOs. Would you agree with that, Jen? Yeah. So, you know, so most of you, if you're clients of ours, if you're on a Medicare Advantage plan, it's probably a PPO. The PPOs, there's just some consolidation. They're not going away, but you know, an insurance company may have had 3 PPOs in your county and all 3 are not profitable, so they might be scaling down to 1, right? By the time you're watching this video, you may have already gotten notification that your Medicare Advantage plan is terminating. If it is, we absolutely need to talk this year. Okay. Your options are going to be: 1, we shop for a PPO plan in your county that will continue to exist for 2026. There will be several. There's a lot that are terminating, but we can look as far as what's left. Or you'll also get very clearly a letter that says, hey, normally, if you wanted to move to a Medicare supplement plan, which usually has a higher monthly premium, normally they would love to ask you health questions, but you get guaranteed acceptance into a Medicare supplement plan. So those are the 2 conversations we're going to have with you and help you just kind of weigh those options. We have an agnostic process. We'll lay out the trade-offs, and whatever's best for you is what we should do. What I will say is on the remaining Medicare Advantage plans, we don't have perfect visibility into 2026 yet, but the first thing to go tends to be these dental benefits. So it is possible that if you're going to remain on a Medicare Advantage plan, we might be in a position where we might need to actually buy a dental plan to go along with your Medicare Advantage plan. Maybe. I just want to prepare you for that. Of course, if you move to Medicare Supplement, they don't have all those extra freebies. It's more a la carte. If you want vision, we got to buy vision. You want dental, we got to buy dental. And that's what I want you to know about that. Bottom line is, if you're receiving any notification that your plan is canceling, we absolutely need to speak this fall. Those clients we're notifying them early so that you get front of the line privileges. It's just kind of the right thing to do. So you'll want to book a meeting on our calendar so that we can go through your options on. Okay. Fill the gaps. I'm just going to skip. Oh, I'm not sharing. Okay. Anyway, let's see. Okay. So that was a slide there. You saw my pretty face longer than I intended. All right. Excellent. Medicare Supplement and Part D. Alex, I'll probably call on you here as we go through this. So for those of you on Medicare Supplement, you know the deal. You can go see any doctor in the country, no referrals and no networks. And most of you have an annual deductible of a whopping $257 a year. And then you don't see medical bills for the rest of the year. It's great coverage, does come at a cost. And there's, other than a free gym membership, there's really no extra benefits. So, but nevertheless, a lot of you are on that. So on the Medicare Supplement side, there is some contraction in that market as well. As you know, if you've been on a Medicare Supplement, those premiums tend to go up 2 different ways in most parts of the country. Number 1, you have a birthday. God willing, we hope you have plenty of birthdays. And the monthly premium will creep up. Number 2, the insurance company will not pick you out of a lineup, but they'll go to their state insurance commissioner and ask for permission to increase premiums every year. They pretty much all do it. We tend to stick with well-known companies with scale in your state and county, because those are the ones that surprise us the least often with rate increases. Now, as quickly as I say that, there have been some anomalies. Different parts of the country, we've noticed disparate price increases of companies like United Healthcare and Anthem. They've typically been the 800-pound gorilla, but I wouldn't say that they're egregious in all cases, but they're enough that in a lot of cases there's been some meat on the bone to move to a different Medicare supplement plan with the identical benefits. Keep in mind, every Medicare supplement plan, if it's a Plan G, has to pay claims identically. So this is kind of like buying a gallon of gas. You can make the argument that Chevron's better than Shell, but I'm not really interested in why you say that because it's basically the same thing. So a lot of this comes down to price, right? So you're as far as interruption of benefits, if you went from a United Healthcare Plan G to a Humana Plan G, they have to pay claims identically. They don't even have a chance to misbehave. Alex, you have anything to chime in on?
Sure. Thank you, Brian. So I wanted to touch base on, obviously, we've been noticing the trends where United Healthcare and Anthem, unfortunately, have been increasing prices. It's not really across the board. Like Brian said, there's definitely some parts of the country where they've, been doing that a lot more often. But if you have any of those two supplement companies, that we definitely encourage you to reach out to us. As I'm sure you remember from lots of our conversations of, me having with you folks, these guys are mostly identical. There might be some little differences here and there with the website or the gym membership, and we'll definitely talk about that. But it mostly comes down to price. And these insurance companies are still some of our favorites. But if it comes down to price and we can save you a little money or potentially, use some of the savings and then get a short-term care policy like Brian had mentioned, right, as an extra little safety net, then let's see what we can do for you. So yeah, happy to have those conversations. One more point I feel is fairly important. I know a lot of you folks are very new to Medicare, right? So you might have only had United Healthcare for a year or two. You might have only had Anthem for 6 months. In those cases, anything we're talking about with price differences is a very, very tiny risk. We really don't expect people who have only been on Medicare supplements for a year or two to have any of these. But if you've been on a supplement for 5, 6, 7 years, you've had that much time of price increase and price increase. So that's really going to be our main concern. If you've been on it for a while, by all means, let us know. If you've been on it for a little while, feel free to check in, but the answer is probably going to be continue everything exactly as is.
Yeah, that's great insight. Yeah, it takes a while for pricing disparities to show up, but there's no reason not to make sure we're repriced. The process is easy. Additionally, to that note, we're actually about to launch a very easy technology resource. Any of you that are on a Medicare supplement plan, you're going to start getting probably 2 to 3 emails a year just reminding you, hey, click on here, take a look at your local Medicare supplement pricing. And if you do see enough of a disparity between what you're paying and what some other companies are charging, it's going to take you through some very easy health questions, not super thorough, just kind of make sure that it's worth applying. In a lot of cases, we just need to answer a couple health questions to go from one supplement to another to save you that money. So the system will ask you a little bit about that. If you say no to those questions, they say, okay, hey, book a meeting with the team and we can dig in a little bit deeper. The other thing that's worth pointing out is that Medicare supplement plans, we can actually attempt to change those year round. So this, while in the fourth quarter, everybody has Medicare on the brain, we can actually have this conversation 12 months out of the year. Not so much with Medicare Advantage and prescription drug plans, but Medicare Supplement, we can chat about it now. We can chat about it in January. We can chat about it during your birthday month. So keep that in mind. Start looking out for those emails because we're investing in that technology to kind of just help you put some eyeballs and just say, hey, am I priced well or not? Okay. So that's that. The other thing I wanted to share is we know if you have a Medicare supplement, you also have a D drug plan. This is, the unexpected news. I think we've got a great solution for it. So it's really not that big a deal. We, not just Jen and Alex and Hansel and me, every Medicare agent in the country has been involuntarily removed from the Part D drug plan business. It's kind of fallout from some contraction. Some part of it's the Inflation Reduction Act. Some part of it is just, which definitely has, all legislation has people that win from it. So there's definitely people that benefit from that legislation and other people kind of get squeezed. It's just the way legislation works. One of the results was that the insurance companies not only no longer pay insurance agents on Part D drug plans. And honestly, if that was all that happened, that really wouldn't be enough for us. We would try to not make any process changes. I don't know if it would have been sustainable long term. But number two, sometimes insurance companies stop paying agents so that they can slow down sales. If their risk metrics are out of whack, they'll stop paying you to kind of slow down the sales. And honestly, it's a great technique and it's effective. And we've always understood why insurance companies do that. They also took away our revenue on all the business that we've placed with you. So we also, don't even have revenue on the Part D drug plans, which is our problem, not yours. But additionally, we don't have visibility. So that's all the bad news or disruptive news. The good news is Medicare.gov has gotten so much better. We're going to record a video that you need to watch before you book an annual meeting, if you book an annual meeting, on how to review your Part D drug plan. It's actually really easy. It's probably going to take you about 4 or 5 minutes. I'm going to provide you with a separate link to watch, and we need everybody to go through that exercise. It's really actually pretty easy. And for 90% of you, it's just going to be the simplest thing ever. If you do have a situation that falls outside the bell curve, email us and we will see if we can resolve it over email. And if we can't resolve it over email, we'll do a screen share with you. But it is easy. It's not what we thought would happen, but it's what happened, and that's okay. So we have to evolve. I will let you know that we are going to continue to do some pro bono work on Part D drug plan reviews because it's the right thing to do. Again, if you're not part of this group, we're going to ask you to do the review on your own, follow the video. It's honestly pretty easy. So if you attempt on your own and you just have an issue, you can't figure it out, reach on out to us over email. We'll try to resolve it there or over screen share meeting. If you're age 80 or older, we'll just do it for you. If you have a chronic or terminal illness, you're already juggling a whole bunch of things in your life, we'll do it for you. If you don't have internet access, which our clients is really an issue, we'll help you out. If you're living in a long-term care facility, we'll help you out. So we want to make sure that we're helping people that are probably a little bit more predisposed to have this be a disruption. And like I said, if you fall within the bell curve, which most of you do, follow the video. It's actually pretty darn easy. So those are the things that we wanted to cover. Let's see. Also, just, this Medicare Advantage PPO contraction is nationwide. Wherever you're listening from, you're going to have friends and family who already got notice that their Medicare Advantage plan is terminating. And, we would take great pleasure in trying to offer some guidance to them. If anybody's grumbling about their Medicare Supplement plan going up, we're happy to put some eyeballs on that. Feel free to share any and all this video, and just know that I know it sounds hokey, but referrals are like the greatest compliment and greatest validation that of our relationship with you. One of the greatest, not the only. Anyway, so wrapping up, we just wanted to kind of thank you for your trust and that you put in us, and it's important to us that anything that we do gets you the results that you want. And the close second is to make sure that if we do know your financial advisor, and we do in a lot of those cases, that any interaction you have with us also reflects well on your financial advisor and their broader financial planning strategy. So just to do a quick screen share here as we conclude is, DesignMyMedicare.com is the website. And if you call the office, you're probably going to speak to Hansel first, and now you know who you're speaking to. I'd also encourage you to join our Facebook page, DesignMyMedicare.com. We're starting to share more and more information there. And, a lot of it is Medicare related and things that, we'd want to know if we were you. The other thing I really hope for that Facebook page is to kind of build a bit of a community. We kind of have a really interesting group of clients at DesignMyMedicare. I'm not saying that finances dictate, happiness in all cases, but, a lot of you come by way of their financial advisors. A lot of you have had really interesting careers, really interesting life experiences, really interesting vacations. There's a couple who went to Antarctica like 2 years ago, and I wasn't ready to start promoting that stuff in the Facebook page, but I just know there's a whole bunch of you that are probably interested in knowing about what a trip to Antarctica would feel like, and this couple is just terrific. Additionally, there's, for better or for worse, a lot of times life will throw us some curveballs, and And if you do get some crummy diagnosis and you're just looking for some perspective from somebody who's been through it personally or had a spouse that went through it, there's a really good chance that there's another Design My Medicare client who has perspective that you might benefit from. And I just think it'd be really neat to be able maybe reduce some anxiety or just have people not feel super alone and vulnerable at a moment that maybe you're getting some not so great news. Any perspective from anybody with experience would be helpful, but, I think the Design My Medicare connection can only be neutral or positive to kind of bringing people together. So I'll kind of wrap up on that. We're so grateful for to be able to work with all of you. So I hope this is helpful. We'll talk to some of you in the fall. Others, maybe the best thing to do is nothing. If you're not sure, book a meeting. If you're sure that everything's okay, we can probably skip it. If anything we talked about sparked any interest or need to talk, then we're excited to help you out. And through technology and a great team of people, I don't anticipate the calendar being as booked out as it was. I think we're going to be able to help people a lot faster than during that busy season than we've normally been able to. So I will leave it there. Hansel, Jen, Alex, you have anything to add?
Just we have the protocol set in place to best help people as quickly as possible. So please take the time, watch the videos, reach out to us if you need any additional help. We are always here, but help us help you, and this will definitely be as good of a 2026 experience as we possibly can.
Well said. All right, awesome. Everybody, we'll talk to a bunch of you soon. And again, thank you so much.